What's up guys, it's Bastian here coming at you with another Pokemon theme deck profile, and today we are looking at Sabrina's theme deck from the Gym Challenge set of 4 theme decks. And again, I must say this is one of my favorite ones. Let's start with the Pokemon. Let's start with colorless first because we do get some Porygons in this particular deck. We get 3 copies of Sabrina's Porygon, 40 HP. It's alright, but really we are happy with a sharp point attack that can deal 10 damage. So if Sabrina's Porygon is your starter, you can immediately start to attack. The barrier attack is okay as well because it does deal 20 damage and it will reduce all damage done by attacks to Sabrina's Porygon during your opponent's next turn by 10. And because barrier attacks effect stays on Sabrina's Porygon, it means even if your opponent does a switch, they will still deal 10 less damage to Sabrina's Porygon. So it's actually a pretty good little starter Pokemon to have in this particular theme deck. I'm not going to say that it is the best, but certainly for this format, it is good enough. We do get 2 copies of Sabrina's Jinx. The Helping Hand is okay if you are really desperate and want to draw cards. You can choose one of your opponent's Pokemon, remove any number of damage counters from that Pokemon, and draw that many cards. It is a draw engine. I used it once, I think. If you have your main beater set up, then this can be a good one. But if you do have your main beater set up, you probably don't need to draw too many cards anyway, so it's a bit of a catch-22 situation. However, Hug is a pretty good attack because it deals 20 damage for 2 energies. If you get the coin flip right, the defending Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn, so you can keep them trapped, and then you can carry on hugging them. Which is pretty funny. 60 HP though on a basic in this format is pretty good. We got 3 Sabrina's Drowsies, and that is a linchpin card for this deck because for those of you who read Jason Kosinski's blog, you hopefully are following as well about the erratas of these cards because, well, let's just put it this way, that Wizards of the Coast did screw up a few of the translations. Energy Support not only searches your deck for a Psychic Energy card, but you can also attach it to any one of your Pokemon on your bench. And that is exactly how we play this card. And it makes it phenomenal. Super good because it digs out the countless energies from your deck. You're more likely to draw into something that is useful, another Pokemon, a trainer card, and the fact that you can energy accelerate as well is just fantastic. This is a really, really, really good card, and if Wizards of the Coast would have done the translation correctly, this would have been a linchpin throughout the gold era of the game. But we play with the errata, again, as I said before, and that makes this card really good. Mind Trick is also a pretty good attack. Again, we still have this 2 energy for 20, which we've seen on Porygon and Jinx. This one doesn't apply weakness and resistance, which can be useful, but we really want to use Sabrina's Drowsy for that energy support attack. Now this is where we get into the fun. 4 copies of the Fade Out Sabrina's Ghastly. This is a very powerful Pokemon. Not only can you have a 1 energy lick attack which deals 10 damage, and if you're lucky also paralyze, which can be quite devastating in this game if you get continuous paralyze effects on your opponent's active. These decks don't really have many switch cards. They don't really have many full heal cards. Your best bet is if your Pokemon can evolve, you might be able to evolve them out of a special condition for the 1 turn. This guy doesn't have a weakness. This guy doesn't have a retreat cost, so it will give you a lot of flexibility. And that Fade Out attack, you deal 30 damage for 2 energies. Again, a 2 energy attack immediately, pretty much in all our basics. Really cool. But you also return Sabrina's Ghastly and all energy cards attached to your hand. So if you got this set up the right way, you can send up a Jinx, for example, something with a high HP to greet your opponent's next Pokemon. Ideally, you go for the Fade Out to get a KO on your opponent's side, which again will give you card advantage as well because you do get access to your prize cards. And of course, Sabrina's Ghastly does also have an evolution. This is our first evolution Pokemon. We have 2 copies of Sabrina's Haunter. I like Sabrina's Haunter, not particularly in this Steam deck, but generally, and especially if you got the Gengar to evolve into, then this is a fantastic card. But again, a 2 energy attack, a guaranteed asleep, and 20 damage. And you can also try the shadow attack. I don't tend to use shadow attack too often, but you can flip a coin heads, if heads, and if you choose, if your opponent has any bench Pokemon, you choose one of them, and this attack does 30 damage to it. This is really good with Sabrina's ESP. That would allow you to. Is it ESP that allows you to reflip the coin? I think that is Sabrina. Yes, it is Sabrina's ESP. Unfortunately, we do not get any copies of that in this deck. If we would have, the shadow attack would be 100% better, just to give us a second flip potentially if you do get that wrong, and that's actually pretty good. A 30 damage to any bench Pokemon, no weakness and resistance, is pretty cool. And again, it gives the Ghastly a massive HP upgrade, 30 to 70. If you're at that point where you just need to evolve out of the problem, again, no weakness, no retreat cost, these two cards are really powerful in this deck. And then on to our boss monster. And first we start with two specific Abras that we have in the deck. Looking at the 50 HP Abra, it's okay for the quick attack where you can potentially get a 30 damage off it, but it is either 10 or 30 depending from the coin flip. Size Scan we never really used, to be honest, not in the theme deck format. But the other Abra, not only do you have a 1 energy attack that actually does deal damage, pound for 10, but you can also synchronize. If Abra and your opponent's active have exactly the same number of energy cards attached to them, then you can use synchronize and deal 40 damage. That's really powerful. And again, we got this 2 energy attack on our basics, which is okay. So 2 copies of 2 separate Abras, that just allows you to have a bit of a versatility. And then probably one of my favorite art Pokemon in the WotC era, Sabrina's Kadabra. I just love this art. This art is so amazing. And Life Drain is a good attack, but I have previously flipped 3 tails in 3 consecutive turns, and that was an absolute nightmare. But a Side Shot is pretty good. 3 energy is a little bit hefty, but sometimes the Psychic Pokemon are just not the best, not known best for their high energy output. But it's still okay. If these decks would have DCEs, then this would be basically a 2 energy Side Shot for 30. I still love the art. I still love that it's 70 HP. If you do get Life Drain, you feel like you're already winning the game. And then the boss monster, Sabrina's Alakazam. Another one which just has absolutely exquisite art. Just love this Alakazam art so much. And a really, really, really good Pokemon, 80 HP. The Silent Pokemon power allows you to copy any of your Psychic Pokemon's attacks off the bench, which is just absolutely fantastic. You can decide to fade out even Sabrina's Alakazam. If you're very low on HP, you can copy Sabrina's Ghastly's Fade Out, deal 30 damage, scoop all these back up if your Alakazam has got like 10 health left, maybe taking 60 70 damage, and you really want to save it. Yes, you can do that. Do you want to Nightmare and put your opponent definitely to sleep? You can do that. You want a Side Shot? You can do that with a second Kadabra. So it gives you a lot of different options. Mind Shock is good, but that Mega Burn attack, yes, 4 energy, but you're not going to have a problem building up to that here, especially if you got Sabrina's Drowsy out and you keep feeding energy onto your Abra or Kadabra to go into that Alakazam. And 60 HP in this very limited format is super strong. Super, super, super strong. Now, if, again, these decks would come with a DC, then you could go Sabrina's Kadabra, one Psychic Life Drain, then a DC, Side Shot, then next turn you could attach another energy and go for Mega Burn. But we don't have DCs in these decks. Now, this is the Pokemon lineup. We probably have less Pokemon than most of the decks. We only see about 16 basics and only 2 evolution lines. But we do get some good, powerful card draw effects. Let's start with Saffron City Gym though, which allows us to, as often as each player likes during his or her turn before attacking, to return 1 basic energy card attached to one of his or her Pokemon with Sabrina in its name to his or her hand. So not only can you accelerate with Drowsy's energy support, you can also potentially, scoop back a lot of extra energies into your hand if you need it somewhere else. We do get one copy of Sabrina, which is Saffron City Gym but on steroids. It takes all energy cards attached to one of your Pokemon with Sabrina in its name and attach them to another one of your Pokemon with Sabrina in its name. You can basically end up with a fully powered Sabrina's Alakazam if you got like 3 energies on Sabrina's Haunter and move them all over to Alakazam, attach the 4th for the turn, and you get enough for 60 damage attack with Mega Burn. Fantastic. We do get one Psychic Control, which allows us, if we get the coin flip right, to copy one of the trainer cards in the opponent's discard pile, but you can't copy anything that stays in play, like Plus Power, Mysterious Fossil, Defender, or Gym cards. It's sometimes good, but only if you get the coin flip and only if you have your something that's actually usable in your opponent's discard pile. We do get 2 Sabrina's Gaze. It's not as much card draw as much as card circulation, so each player shuffles their hand into their deck and draws the new hand of the same number of cards that they shuffled back. It's situational. I wish it had the original art because Sabrina looks badass on the original art. But yeah, this is kind of like what allows us to see more cards. And the 2 bills. The bills are very powerful here. Just draw 2 cards twice. It's pretty good. And we also see 2 potions. And we don't really have any heal effects besides these 2 potions and maybe Psychic Control if our opponent uses a potion. And we get 2 switches, which is particularly good for our Sabrina's Alakazam, because all the other guys will not really have a problem retreating. I could easily see this deck running no switches and running 2 ESPs, Sabrina's ESPs, to make that shadow attack a lot more usable. But it's still a nice deck. It's still pretty cool to play with. And of course, you wouldn't be surprised if I told you it's got 28 energies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 psychic energies. I keep telling you guys that these theme decks are a gold mine for you to set up your energy bank if you want to play old school Pokemon with these fantastic looking old energy cards. Then theme decks are the way to go. I did notice though that they have gone up in price. I hope I don't have much to do with that. Certainly Drunk Shuckle is also doing a lot of Pokemon profiles, way more than I do. Of course, shout out to Drunk Shuckle, by the way. But yeah, they have gone up in price. However, you can still pick up some of the earlier ones, and don't be afraid about picking up a used set. Just make sure that you don't get fucked over by the eBay sellers, because often they are just posting empty deck boxes. But they would put that in the description, hopefully. So make sure you check all the pictures, make sure you check what the description is for the particular item, and make sure that they have a complete set of 60 cards. That's what you need. That's all you need. Don't worry about the booklets. Don't worry about the counters. Don't worry about the coin. But if you want to play the cards, you need the cards. Make sure you get a full set. Even if it's used, it's still fine. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed another one of my Pokemon, old school Pokemon, WotC era theme deck profiles. And this time we looked at Sabrina. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. It will really help out the channel. And leave a massive like as well. Leave a comment below the video if you want to have a chat about these cards, and share it with a friend who's also into old Pokemon stuff. Up until next time, guys, Bustin signing out. Peace.